What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Egregiously Misconstrued. I'm back with another gun video, a little bit of content, something to drop on this Saturday afternoon. Uh, some things that pleasantly surprised me today that I want to talk to y'all about. So, I told you guys recently I was going to be making this purchase. I'm sure you already know what this is. Springfield Echelon, full size, with the Siley Bear closed emitter, red dot on it. Surefire X300 Ultra, just so we can clear the air. This weapon is clear and safe, as well as a magazine. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinsert that. So a few little talking points. Today, I decided it was time to not only mount this Sealy Bear, and if I'm saying that wrong, fuck it, it is what it is. I decided to mount this Sealy Bear to the top of this Springfield Armory Echelon and give it a shot. As y'all know, like I said before, I'm not really a brand snob to a certain extent. So Springfield is not my brand per se. And this Sealy Bear was a budget optic. That's what we're going to call it. I've been intrigued by it for a while. I've seen it a million times on different videos and different people that I know that have it. So I said, hey, why not give it a shot? So pretty simple mounting system. I'm not getting ready to get deep into the Springfield mounting system because there's millions of videos out there to talk about it. So if you at this point of watching my video, you pretty much already know. So it was easy to mount. The plate that I needed to mount it came with a Sealy Siley Bear, which is an RMR footprint. So we put that on, attached the optic to it, and it's pretty sturdy. It's very sturdy. I don't have any movement with it. I put 450 rounds through this firearm today. It was my first time shooting it, so I wanted to get through the break-in phase or as close to it as possible. I'm gonna see what all the hype was about. So before I get into my shooting experience with it, let me talk to you a little bit about my take on the firearm. So I'm not a guy that's overly worried about stippling. If I can grip it and I can hold it comfortably, then I'm pretty much good to go. But with this gun, we do have a lot of texture here, all around. There's texture here. There's texture here. I am a fan of this area here on this pistol, where you can rest your thumb while you're shooting. That's textured as well. I think that's a really good idea, as well as this area here. So there's texture there, so you can get a good purchase on the firearm. Unlike many firearms, this one is pretty much fully ambidextrous, other than right here. And I'm drawing a blank. I'm not a professional, so I'm forgetting what that shit is called right now, even though I say it 1,000 times. But you got ambidextrous mag release, ambidextrous slide stops. Now, when you mount I call these mailbox, and when you mount one of these mailbox optics, unless you have suppressor height sights, you're going to lose your ability to co-witness. That's not something that I particularly worry about. I know people say, hey, what if the battery goes dead and you still got to shoot and you don't have the ability to co-witness? If I'm in a situation where I still have to shoot, even if that battery is dead, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. And even if I have to do a mag change with 20 in this one and 17 in the other one until I put the other extension on there, let's just say out of 40 rounds, I'm going to hit you at least 20 of them times, whether this is working or not. Just simple point of aim and muscle memory from shooting, and the abilities that I have that I'm confident in it. I wouldn't give a damn if the battery went out or not, and I could fully co-witness. I can still see my front sight through this optic, whether it's on or not. And I've shot enough firearms that were completely out of sight, missing the rear sight, and had a front sight where I still could hit what I was trying to hit. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to stack rounds on top of rounds, but I'm going to hit you, because at the end of the day, if I'm in a fight that involves me having to shoot you, we're not going to be that far away anyway. And at this caliber and at this range, the type of ammunition that I carry, even if I miss, I can't miss. That's just how confident I am in my ability. So we can move on from that. I'm a fan of the texture. I'm a fan of the design. Something you guys don't like, but I do. I'm a fan of these cocking fins at the rear of the firearm. I am a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that U-shaped rear sight. That's something that I'll dig deeper into in the weapon later on. Um, as far as the slide, I can grip it here. 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 Plenty of places for me to put my hand and grip it if I needed to. If I wanted to take this mailbox and I did it at the range, even though I'm not a fan of doing it on the shelf, just to see if I could rack that slide um, off of the solid bear, and it worked perfectly. No issues. Didn't scratch the glass nor the material around the glass. So I was pretty excited about that. The thing that I liked the most, or one of the things that I liked the most about this firearm, was the trigger. It's virtually a flat face trigger. Um, the reset, the uptake, just the fluidness of the trigger while you're shooting. I fell in love with it, and I'm gonna just give you a brief example of the trigger. So let's do it like this. So here we go. Reset. You can barely hear it. It just reset. There it is, man. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Now, I normally prefer a more audible reset. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't when I do. The first few times I was playing with it when I got it, I was skeptical because that reset was, uh, if you're not paying attention or you're at the range and you got ear pro in on top of ear pro, you may not hear it. It's light enough to where you may not feel it. So you have to really pay attention to it to feel it. And I've gotten to the point over the last couple of days, and the amount of rounds I just put through it, I can feel it. I know it's there. It's just not as audible as I would prefer for it to be. But I'm not going to knock the weapon because of that, because it works beautifully. So we put some rounds downrange, a lot of rounds downrange. When we started, I didn't attempt to zero the bear before I took my first shots. So got there, got set up, took a few pictures, come straight out of the box, and I start shooting. As I'm shooting, it's shooting high and to the right. Instantly, I noticed that it's shooting high and to the right. So I think I put probably 40 rounds downrange with it shooting high and to the right. I wanted to see if it stayed consistent there, and it did. And you'll see that in one of the clips that I put in. So I wasn't upset about that. That didn't piss me off. So bought the target back, put the gun down, unloaded it, started my zeroing process. Shot probably another 15, 20 rounds. I'm still a little bit high and to the right. Played with it some more. Boom, I got it where I want it. That dot is floating virtually right in the center of that screen when I got it to the point of zero. And I zeroed that at about 15 yards. Most people say that's too far, but that's kind of where I like to do it. I'm gonna zero in about 15 yards. Anything shorter or longer than that, I've been shooting long enough to know, kind of where I need to adjust to get where I'm trying to get. But got it zeroed in as far as I'm concerned. So we get into my regular shooting routine. I don't use these fancy targets. I got some pretty basic targets that I use. I'm not looking to stack rounds. I'm not a marksman. I'm a dude that's gonna hit you in center mass 99% of the time. And I'll probably hit you in your face if that's what I'm aiming about 99% of the time. I'm pretty proficient in what it is that I do. I'm not a competition shooter. I don't have perfect groupings. I'm not measuring a group. I know that I'm going to have a few flyers because I get lazy with my trigger discipline. My stance is completely unorthodox, but it works for me. So I'm the average guy who goes out and shoots, but also has the formal training to know how to shoot properly. But shooting properly is highly uncomfortable to me, so I shoot the way that I shoot. Take it for what it is. I'm not a firearms instructor. So there's that. Next up, as I'm shooting, and I got a bag full of guns, so I'm doing a lot of shooting. I'm rotating through different things. Something says to me, you got a Glock 17 in the bag. I've seen a lot of videos of people are comparing this to the Glock 17. So I say, hey, you got it here with you. You might as well do your own comparison. Just so you know, this magazine is empty. This weapon is clear and safe. So I get my Glock 17 out. I load my Glock 17 up. Today, I shot 115 grain and 124 grain. I'm not gonna give you the brand because no, I will give you the brand. I don't give a shit. I shot MagTech today. That's what the range had. I didn't want to shoot any of my own ammo, so I shot there. So I ran some 115 grain and I ran some 124 grain. Full metal jacket, ball ammo. So nothing special. Dirty as fuck. I gotta clean everything that I shot today, but that's what you should be doing most of the time anyway. Unless you're one of those Glock guys that say you shoot for 3 years and don't clean your shit. I'm not one of those guys. I clean my shit. Either way, I've seen a lot of comparisons of these two guns side by side. I can see why they would be comparable. They're very similar in the aesthetics to a certain extent and the dimensions. So I said, hey, I'm gonna do my comparison. And I think my comparison would be valid because I'm not a Glock fanboy. I own two Glocks, Glock 45 MOS and this one. Um, and I was the dude for over 20 years that did not get into Glocks. So I can give an unbiased opinion. So I ran 120 rounds through the Glock 17. For the test, I ran another 120 rounds through the Springfield Echelon. The Glock is the Glock. It's blockier. It's wide. The grip is wider in my hand. Um, this will be the one gun that I would say I'm not a fan of the of much of the smooth texture that is on the grip, and the stippling is there, but the Echelon feels better in my hand. Weight wise, that's give or take. Overall feel when shooting, I have to give it to the Echelon. Felt recoil, this one feels better to shoot. Now, during this test, I was focused on grouping. Easier to group without as much concentration and a more enjoyable shoot. It's the Echelon. In this competition, what I'm going to say is the Glock had no marked advantage over the Echelon as far as the operation of the firearm and the feel in the shooter's hand. There was no advantage to this one over this one. And if I had to choose between the two to move forward and I could only have one, it would be the Echelon. Now, what would make that a hard decision is the reliability of this. I don't have to question the reliability of this. This is a long-standing pillar in the gun community that has been carried by countless people in law enforcement and military. Like the reputation speaks for itself on this one. But if I'm removing reputation and I'm going with what it felt like and how I enjoyed the shooting experience, the Echelon gonna win. It's a no-brainer. It's a done deal. Um, this is the winner between the Glock 17 and the Springfield Echelon, hands down, point blank. Period. Now, am I going to get rid of this firearm because of this? No, I'm not going to do that because what I use this firearm for is this is my bedside pistol. I don't really carry it on a day-to-day basis. I shoot it every time I go to the range because of what I use it for. I need to make sure it's going to do what it's supposed to do. So this is on the nightstand. Every night it's there. Every day it's function checked. Every week it's cleaned. Every week it's shot. That's what this is for. That's what this will be for a while. So I'm not going to replace it with this. But this here, we're going to get very acquainted. We're going to get very in depth with each other. I'm going to try to break this gun. From here, I'm going to run it for 6 months. I'm going to shoot 500 rounds every 2 weeks. So 250 rounds a week through this gun for the next 6 months. We're going to get a pretty high round count pretty quickly just to see what the failure points are, what issues I run into. Now, I'm not going to torture it. I'm not going to do that and not clean it. I just can't bring myself to not cleaning it. So it's going to be cleaned in the midst of me doing that. But if I had to tell you today, a new person that wants a full size gun, that was going to buy a gun today, if I had to tell you which one of these to buy, I would tell you to buy the Echelon. That's what I would tell you to buy. Now, if I was talking to a guy who was already skewed in his thinking and leaning toward Glocks, I would not tell you not to buy this. I wouldn't steer you away from buying this. There are some people, because I know them and I know what it is that they're after and what they like, even though I think this is the better option, I would tell them to buy this. There are some people that this is for. Let me explain that better. There are some people that this is for them. This. Point blank period, this is for them. This is for everybody. If you could find something wrong with the shooting experience with this as a normal person, you just don't like it and you're pre-biased, this is for everybody. You can tell that this was engineered and made to be one of the most comfortable shooting full size sub $1,000 guns on the market. And as it sits right here in its current configuration, how I have it, man, I'm gonna keep it like this for a while. It does have the fire control unit. I don't know what Springfield calls it, but similar to my SIG M18, it's modular. It's one of the most modular guns on the market. So there are some companies out there that make grip modules for it and slide update. I'm not really that far into the gun world. To That's not my thing. I don't need to dress my firearms like I dress myself. Hell, there's plenty of days that I'm glad I have a uniform and a dress code to follow at work, so I don't have to put much thought into what I'm gonna wear to work. So I damn sure ain't gonna be getting up trying to figure out how I'm gonna outfit my gun to match my pants and shirt that day. I'm not that. I ain't that into it. So if I don't like how it looks, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy something knowing that I need to go in there and change it. That's just me. That's my opinion here. So don't get your panties in a bunch about that. Both of these, the firearm and the red dot, I highly recommend you give it a shot. Everybody's not gonna like the closed emitter setup. Everybody's not gonna like the mailbox setup. I talked shit about the mailbox setup for years. Hell, I talked shit about it on a video with y'all the other day, knowing that I was gonna go get this because I just couldn't keep ignoring it based on the price that I saw it at and some of the good reviews I saw from it. I just knew that those people had paid sponsorships and they were saying those good things about it because they were getting paid to. And some of them were, but when I used it today, I understood the genuine responses of how much they liked it. So I liked it enough to where I just purchased two more today. They'll be here sometime this week. So we're gonna see what it feels like on other firearms. And with me, optics are one of those things that what works for you on one firearm could completely not work for you on another. So we're gonna test it. I got enough to where we can test it. Um, and I got enough that are already RMR cut, so I don't have to do too much plate buying and all of that to see what it is on that weapon. But again, I appreciate you guys checking me out. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I don't get paid for any of these videos. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not asking for donations. And I'm talking about what I like, and that's guns. I'll holler at y'all later on. Peace.